You're watching Women of Strength TV with a purpose-driven woman who has a yearning deep in her soul to serve the world. Presented to you by Ange Wilcock, creator of Evolutionary Model of Well-Being, Mindfulness-Based Storytelling, and the Raw Woman Project, a businesswoman on a mission for every human on the earth to feel enough.
Hi and welcome to Women of Strength, and I've got another amazing guest today. I can't wait for you to listen to her story and what she does, because she's quite phenomenal. Someone for me to aspire to be, because she's done some of the things that I'm wanting to do for my future, and that's what I love about interviewing these amazing women, because we connect to women who may be a couple of steps behind us or a couple of steps ahead of us. And my guest today, Carrie Montgomery, is definitely a few steps ahead of me, and so I love that. So welcome, Carrie, to Women of Strength.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor and pleasure to be here.
Thank you. It's an honor to be able to talk to you. Now, just going to tell you all a little bit about Carrie. And as you know, as I always say, my memory retention is not fantastic, so I always read this. So Carrie is an image and brand consultant for thriving female entrepreneurs. Her work has been featured on the Oprah Winfrey Network. That's what I'm so excited about. It's like, whoa! And Super Soul Sunday, I'm even more excited, with Christiane Northrup and Coastal Living, Old Port Magazine, and Hay House. It's like, wow, you're living my dream already. She uses her experience in film design, wellness, and her love for fashion to create a holistic experience to personal style. She creates her clients' image to elevate the visibility of their brands. I think I need to see you. She loves to help women look good and feel good from the inside out. Carrie teaches women to own their true beauty and support them in building their confidence by creating a dream image for their business and life. I love it. It's amazing. So, well,
right?
so many things I want to chat to you about, and I know that we haven't got a long time. So the first question for me to ask is, because obviously this is all about being a woman of strength, and so when did that start for you? When did you step into being that strong woman?
When I was like 6.
Yeah, I get that.
I've always been kind of fierce, and it's just part of my nature. I think we moved a lot, so I grew up in England, in the Cotswolds and in London, and then
wow, yeah. From the Cotswolds.
Yeah. So we lived there. We lived in New York and New York City. So I was in environments that were kind of intense and aggressive, and I had to learn how to survive. And so I was put into social situations where I had to learn how to show up no matter what was going on. And as a child, you can like throw tantrums, but as an adult, you have to learn how to just gracefully enter and exit a situation.
Yeah.
And so I really, as an adult, when I stepped into it as like a true woman, at 18, I broke my back and had to have a spinal fusion. And I had a moment there recovering from surgery where it was like a contract was created. And it was so crazy because the nurses came into the room when I was recovering, and there was this wonderful older lady that had just had hip surgery, and gosh, I can't remember her name right now. That's terrible. Anyway, she was like my angel. And so the nurses came in and they were like, there are angels in this room. Like, what is going on in here? It's so wild. It's such a different room than any other room here. And I'd already been studying alternative medicine and holistic health, like from 15. So I was kind of like in this other state. And I made this contract that I was going to be a powerful woman, that I was going to show up no matter what happened to me, and that I was going to create change in the world. So that was it. That was like my defining moment.
Yeah, brilliant. And it's usually something that's quite significant that happens in our life, isn't it? That makes us move forward into that space. That's a great story. So from then on, what happened in your journey? So you'd made this decision that you were going to move into that space. So what happened next for you?
I tried to go to college and couldn't do it. I was like, I was in a back brace and I was still recovering. So I decided to move to Scotland and live in a spiritual community.
Ah.
So I lived in Findhorn, Scotland for about 6 months. And then I traveled through Europe and Greece and Israel and then down into the Sinai Desert and lived in a Bedouin village. And I just embraced this nomadic style that I have. And this really was ingrained from my family. My parents, they lived in Afghanistan, they lived in India, Tokyo, like Manila. They've lived all over the world. And so I just sort of embraced how I was raised. And I would say, I loved the healing world, but I also love storytelling. And I love image. So my first trade was photography. So even before I broke my back, I was doing photography. I got a scholarship to art school for that. And then I ended up leaving Egypt and going back to America and kind of going on a journey around America, going like, well, what am I supposed to be doing? And I wasn't recovering well from the back surgery. So I was in this struggle, right? And I was like, ooh, this is hard. It's not working. And so I learned to teach Pilates. And then I realized that it's really hard to survive without an education.
Yeah.
So I ended up going back to college and studying acting and film. And that's where I really kind of got into image and how to present yourself and the professionalism of that. I worked in Los Angeles for years, and I also ran the film unit for the state of New Mexico. So I was working with the high-level producers there and bringing in productions, and we were pulling runaway productions from Canada into New Mexico with our rebate program that I created. So creating OSHA certification training programs, any way to bring revenue into the state. And then I moved to New York City, which was like, dream come true. And I kind of wanted to act again. So I was working on that and teaching Pilates and doing private clients and working for a director, like doing too much. And I broke. And my body like, nope, we're not doing it. Yeah. And so after about 9 months of like working, good, 12 to 14 hours a day, literally up at, 5 a.m., not home till 10 p.m. and like no fun, just all work.
Yeah.
I was like, this is how you do it in New York as an adult. But I wasn't making enough money. And I just was like, my health was like, so I pulled out of that and I came back to Maine and I started working on some healing and just kind of getting my body back together. And I really started focusing on PR and marketing. And then I wanted to fine tune sales. And I found that like I needed to have that one skill that I felt was like undeniable. Like I have it. And it became like a very natural talent for me. So then I pursued a career in sales for about 10 years in resort real estate, in interior design, in advertising, and then finally in integrative health. And so I worked for health companies, supplement companies, and taught nutrition to doctors, and then was a health coach inside those offices. So I adopted this whole, from like 20 years ago, I adopted this whole healing mentality that I had and brought it into doctors' offices, a place where I'd really struggled for a long, long time with my body. So.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and it's amazing how us women who, when we really connect to who we are and looking and searching for who we are and who we want to become, we go off and do so many different things before we really, really get to that, connecting, feeling beautiful from the inside out.
Right. And so I haven't even really gotten to the part, I just realized, I was like, I told you the big backstory, but the part where I made this final change was 4 years ago. I was working in New York City and I was so sick. I couldn't walk. I was like having episodic paralysis. I was 30 pounds skinnier. I wasn't able to eat much food because I couldn't digest anything. And I was working in integrative health. Like it was one of those wild moments where you're like, I'm teaching something and my body can't respond to it. I can't live it. And I had to leave my job because I was so sick. And I ended up moving back to Maine and in with my family and, you know, nurturing myself back to health. And that's been a 4-year process. And, you know, now I have some autoimmune stuff and things where I really have to be mindful of my body.
Yeah.
And so 2 years ago when I just felt like I'd move to Maine and I'd work on my health and I'd get better and I would coach and I would build an online business and it would be fine. Like I'd just be okay. And I purchased B School about, I guess it was like a full year into that process because I moved to Maine in like on Memorial Day weekend of 2013 and then did B School in 2014. So I had this goal, like I'm going to find my niche and I'm so awesome and unique and like I have a cool background and I have all these skills. So let's just like bring it to the table. And in the process of like creating the new me, I was completely out of alignment with the brand I had created. And I had these, and people would see me one way and I was like, I don't know how to do that. And then I got to a point where, let's say it was, so B School was in February. So in September 2014, I almost died. And that was like this, like, I don't understand. Like, how can I still have more health problems? Like and I had this underlying story that if I just found the right career, my health would change. Like my life would change. If I just had the right job or path, then my world would be so different. And what I realized is that, you know, I had created a brand that was out of alignment with where my health was. It was called the Passionate Rebel Lifestyle. And yes, I'm passionate. And yes, I'm rebellious, but I wasn't living the lifestyle because I actually was like so sick that I couldn't even keep the consistency and the rhythm. And so when I pulled back after almost dying and, you know, losing my ability to have children was really what had happened in that moment. I had to have an emergent hysterectomy to save my life. And I just stopped. I was like, nope, like, I'm not, I couldn't talk to people. The grief and the devastation was just, it was so like captivating and overwhelming at the same time. I
can feel it myself. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah.
It's like, wait, I thought that if I just moved to Maine and I started a business and I found a partner, then we could start a life and I could finally have kids and I'd be on my path. And then this dream that I thought I was like doing the right thing just didn't happen. And so what I did was I reached out to a bunch of women that I'd met through B School and I was like, hey, let's start a mastermind. And I put together 9 women and we met once a month and they started cultivating me and helping me see myself for who I actually am and bringing out my gifts and my talents. And we developed those relationships. And then they asked for favors and then they asked if they could hire me. And then it was like, oh, we see all these skills. Can you make me look good? I need your help. And so I started creative directing their photo shoots and then I started dressing them and I just helped them show up for their businesses in a way that they didn't know how the back end of like being in front of the camera really works. It's just different. A lens, when you see something through a lens, it's a different layout. It's a different setup. And I mean, that was my first training at 15 years old. I learned how to see through the eye of a camera. So I now, like, I take all of the soul work and I take all the creative work and and my family also has an interior design business. So I've been trained in all of that too. So I have this aesthetic thing that just is ingrained in me. And that's really how this phase was born. So, and then I got, you know, I think my 4th client was Christiane Northrup. And she was like, can you do this? Can you do that? Okay, let's do this. I'm going here. Okay. Like, and it just like, when you're in the right thing, like it just happens.
Yeah.
And that was my dream my whole life, for something to naturally progress. And for it to happen. And so then I got a regular magazine gig and that I was like, okay, now I have a portfolio and it's just happening. And, you know, it's been 2 years now. And that's like a lot's happened in 2 years. That's a lot of great things have happened.
Yeah. Wow. And how about your health? So since you've been doing what you love and you feel so relaxed and it's the most natural thing in the world, how's your health been?
That's a great question. So it's a lifestyle. And that's something that I had to come to accept. And I've really been working with sort of the masculine and feminine energy. I was a very masculine driven person. So I was like, produce, put it out there.
Yeah.
And so now, since I've, being on sets all the time, it was like things were coming back. And so I had to scale it back, and I had to go, okay, like, how do we rejig this? I don't doubt that I'm in the right direction, but I need to accommodate myself. So it was the first time in my life where I didn't need to take a step back and reinvent the wheel. I just had to take a step back and adjust the direction a little bit. And that's when I started shifting my business back to being online. And now, I have a client in Mexico. She was like, hey, I'm doing a photo shoot. Can we do a call? And so we do a 90-minute call, and I have her set up for 7 outfits to do her shoot. Granted, we've worked together 3 times before, but so she knows the rhythm and the structure and how to make her own selection, so she can really be fairly self-sufficient. She just needs the direction.
Yeah.
But that's like, it's so possible to do this online, and that's the amazing thing. So that's how I've been able to honor my body and my health is I dress daily to accommodate what my body needs. And that's part of what I'm really teaching is we have to show up every day, no matter what.
Yeah.
Or we're saying, I'm calling it quits for today, and I'm going to take a personal day, and like, I'm not going to be out in the world. And I have those days, right? I have those days where I take a step back and I'm like, ooh, my body's not feeling well. I need to rest. And I had one of those this weekend, and I was like, but I have to move, and I have all these things I need to do. And my partner was like, you're resting today. Like, this is what your body's asking for. So now I have like reinforcements.
Yeah.
Like, I've attracted everything that my body needs to help me stay on course. Am I cured? No, but am I attracting the right things that are coming towards me? Yes. And that is a miracle.
Yeah.
Because I'm not living in doubt. I'm not living in fear. I'm living in the process. And I'm not like, oh, I'm not there yet. I'm never going to get there. And I'm so scared. Like, what if I just stay this way? And it's like, no, the right thing will come to you when the next phase is open, and then the next phase. And so I trust the process, and I never did that before.
Yeah. And our body is amazing because it speaks to us all the time, and we choose to ignore it. I've got a similar story around, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. That would probably be about nearly 18 months, nearly 2 years, maybe close to 2 years ago. And, the story that I was given by my medic, and it was like, no, sorry, I'm not going to accept that. And I've cured myself. And I've done that with many things. But the key thing around that was actually accepting that I am enough. Everything that I am and everything that I can be is enough. And that shifted me too in my business because, similar story to lots of women that I've been interviewing is that we've got this driving passion, this purpose, and deep in our heart, deep in our soul that burns so bright, and we're trying to find what it is, and we keep looking externally all the time. And as soon as we go inward and stop worrying, that's how Woman of Strength came about, because it was very much about, there are so many women out there, what I call suffering, and we don't need to. It's just be ourselves.
Right. And that's like align with that energy. And, the process that I use to get dressed on a daily basis, and when my speech comes out, you can listen to this, but it's all about how we align with our energy for the day, and we look at what our day has in store for us so we can be totally aligned in the process. So it's not just me, it's me and what the outside world, what we have to meet. Yeah. And then how can I marry that? So how do I, if I have to stand tall and strong, how do I create that feeling in my body even when I feel weak? Yeah. And so like there are clothes that can create more flow, or if my body's achy, I might wear stuff that's kind of loose. And it totally eradicates the idea of trends, because trends are like, it's like a plague. It's like, you're like, you have to be like this because this is what the fashion world is dictating. Yeah. It's like, no, actually, I don't. Like, yes, certain things are available on the market because of trends, but if you look at like, oh, I need to wear a structured shirt because I need to feel confident and powerful today.
Yep, totally get that.
That is amazing because you have control over that. Yeah. And or like, you know, when I woke up today and I was like, oh, I still feel like I have a little bit of flu going. And I was like, I'm just gonna wear stuff that's like a little bit flowier just to let my body feel relaxed. I'm not gonna wear a tight push-up bra. Like, I'm gonna wear like a wireless bra today.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like the weight on my shoulders, and I don't want to create more aches and pains in my body. I don't want to stuff myself in something that doesn't feel right for my body today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow might be a different story.
But do you know what? It's just so, it brings tears to my eyes, because hearing you speak, that's how I treat my body. I get up at like, if someone, that's why at the beginning when I did the introduction, I said, well, I think I need you, because my wardrobe is such an eclectic style. Because for me, it's about, I get up and I dress around how I want to feel today. And some days it may be floaty, like I've got floaty, soft things on today. It's early in the morning. That's how I wanted to feel today.
Yeah, we're kindred spirits.
Yeah, and then like yesterday, I had some meetings where I needed to feel confident, and so I put on a fitted dress and my high heels, and I just felt amazing. And so, listening to you saying, you know, when your speech comes out, I'm like, wow, I must have been sat on your shoulder listening. So thank you, because that's just reinforced for me that I am being me. Because I open my, you know, people go, wow, we never see you, you know, dressed the same. Your style is so different.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love that, because I've never wanted to conform. So yeah, it's beautiful.
I worked in, just to kind of give you a little more context to that, because you say like your style is different, but I bet you there is an undertone of similarity. And I mean that in the sense that there's an archetypal structure that you are following to meet your needs. And when we look at sort of our backstory, so what our energy is telling us, what our emotions are telling us, and then what our like life essentials are telling us, the whole core of who we are, from you know, our wealth structure to our family structure to our career to our knowledge, all of those things, they take into like consideration, or they're a part of who we show up as.
Yeah.
And that story can become really muddled and confusing to people when they're creating an image. So what I do is I create a container for people to understand their story and how to apply an image around it. And that we create style archetypes that way. So to give you an example, I'm a justice-seeking woman. I had events in my life where I felt like I was not protected and not served in a justice way.
Yeah.
I'm like a total warrior, and I've had, you know, multiple, like I've had 13 surgeries. I've had multiple traumas. I'm like, you know what? You're like not gonna put me down.
Yeah.
I'm like a true warrior of essence, but I'm also this like bohemian, nomadic, sort of flowy, soulful person. So I'm a boho warrior, and that's my style archetype. That's something that I live by. So I can accept those changes as like, today I'm going to feel flowy, and that's okay. And I'm not going to be my quote unquote warrior, or I could throw on a pair of combat boots with my flowy outfit, and it's totally acceptable.
I do that too.
I'm totally honoring my style.
Yeah.
And that like is the most empowering thing that any woman can do. When they honor their style archetype, they're unstoppable. And like, I just want to create unstoppable women.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it, because as women, we love to get dressed up, but so often when we feel disconnected to who we are, we dress down, and because we want to hide. And so I love that. Oh, it's so beautiful. I didn't realize, exactly, you know, that was what you did. I feel so connected to that.
I know my website doesn't totally honor.
No.
And it's being adjusted, and I have a course coming out, and we'll start a challenge in like May 8th or something to kind of get the 5 P's of a powerful photo shoot. So the steps that you would need to really show up and be powerful in front of the camera. Yeah. But then I'm going to do a webinar after that teaches you a little bit more about the whole archetype and the energy of the body. But I'm going to start a course in June 1 that really talks to how to go through this process, and to bring like I want a wild group of women to step on board and just
yes, please.
yes, absolutely. And so we can do this together, and we can build like a badass, like badass brothel of women, but an amazing group of women that can really lead through this with knowing their style and accepting who they are. And it's the absolute marriage of inside and out.
Absolutely. Because when we feel confident in who we are, it just has such an impact in our lives. It just, because I know sometimes if I get up in the morning and just quickly get dressed for whatever reason it may be, because I may not have prepared for my day, or I'm running late and I got something on, and I just feel so uncomfortable. It's like, oh, why have I got this on? And and
taken pause and like left my day and gone home and showered and like start over. In recovery, there's a thing like you can always start your day over anytime you want. So if you need to do over, like just call it quits, take a step back, and you might have to readjust your schedule for the day. But you know what? If that means that you can be more effective for the rest of your day, all power to you.
Fantastic. I love that. So I want to ask you, so what's one gem that you could let our beautiful women that are been watching and listening to this around feeling great from the inside out? What would be one thing that you could say, this is the place to start? I love the fact that you say you can restart your day, because I hadn't even thought about that. So I love that. But what else? What's another gem that you could give?
When you really look at it like from the inside out, I like, if we want to embody it, hip circles. So doing really awesome hip circles, and in my emails there's one that I send out about hip circles, and it's like my friend Bernadette Pleasant did a video for me to teach you how to do incredibly awesome spacious hip circles. And it's really about embodying yourself and kind of moving with your body, connecting to it in a physical way, but not in a like I'm pumping iron way. In this, I'm just creating some space. And that, it's not mental, right? Like, 'cause I find the spiritual movement to sometimes be fairly mental to me. And I find movement is a way for me to get into my body and connect from the inside and change the direction that I'm going, in the sense, like if I feel sort of, I'm going to say repressed or dark or suppressed, I don't want to stay there too long. Sometimes you need to bake in it a minute and just sort of eat it up and see what's going on and what's coming. Like there is room for darkness for sure. There is always room for introspection that way, but to really cultivate that and start allowing the body to move through and feel what might come up. We are so disconnected from our root chakra, from the base of us. When we can start creating that spiral energy up, it starts with a hip circle. And when you were talking about that, automatically what came into my mind was chakra dancing, because I've attended chakra dancing classes, and it was the most, so it actually touched my soul. So I didn't realize how tense my body was, and when you actually start connecting to the chakras, how fluid you become in your movement, and how you just lose any inhibitions. And so I love that. Thank you for reminding me of that, because there's so many things that we've learned and experienced through our lives, and we know that they support us, and yet we forget them because life gets busy. So wow, this is like having this conversation with you is like speaking to my soul. It's like my soul's coming back to me and going, and you do this, you used to do this, let's reinstate it again. So Carrie, so much. Have you ever tried Koya?
Pardon?
Have you ever tried Koya? Rochelle Schick has created a movement technique called Koya. It's Q-O-Y-A. Yes. And it is an incredible, gentle, every time I do it, I feel my body warming up so softly, so from every inner cell out. And it's a beautiful practice. Beautiful practice.
Yeah.
And that, and because there's expression in it, and there's a little routine, and there's a lot of fun, and there's soulfulness in it, and you're just like, you're allowed to just let go.
Yeah.
That's another technique that you can try and find down there. I'm sure there's, she does stuff all over the world, so I'm sure there's someone there.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. And that's what I love about talking to amazing women, because we experience all these different things and we share it with each other. And yeah. So if our beautiful women want to get in touch with you, because I'm sure there's many of them out there going, wow, I need to be doing this. How can they get in touch with you? What do they need to do?
So they can just go to my website, CarrieMontgomery.com, and it's CARRIE, Montgomery, MONTGOMERY.com. They can check out anything on my site. At the bottom of the site, there's a contact form. We lost you.
Oh, we know we're back now. We're back. Yes.
Okay. So at the bottom of the website, there's a contact form, and that they can just go and fill out the contact form, and I can get back to them.
Fantastic.
And I have a great photo shoot prep checklist. So a lot of times we hire photographers to do a photo shoot, but we're not, like, I hear so many women like, oh, I just grabbed something and ran out the door. And I'm like, this is your brand. This is your business. Like, you're just gonna like grab anything and run away. Like, don't you want to cultivate that image so that people truly understand the vastness of you? And so this is a 3-week process of like how to get prepared, even to like the stylist kit that you would need to run to a photo shoot. So that's a great way, and that's on my website. You can anywhere you can opt in on that.
Fantastic. Right, I'm going to be getting that one, I know for sure, because that's what I'm doing at the moment, is looking at who am I, and the photos that I need to actually show who I am. And I wanted to show all those different aspects of who I am, so it sounds like a great tool for me, so thank you for that.
So I do some sessions. I'm still doing the private one-on-one sessions before I start this course, and that's really about teaching you all the aspects of how you show up, right? Yeah. And really looking at how to build that image and curate that image. So that's
brilliant.
You can play.
And then remind us, did you say that your course is starting on the 1st of June?
It's June 1st. So you'll see, definitely plenty of emails coming out.
Brilliant. Fantastic. So ladies, if you really want to connect to who you are through your style, and Carrie Montgomery is certainly the lady to go to. Thank you so much, Carrie. I've just enjoyed this immensely. And I can't wait. I'm going to be one of your first people on June 1st, because that's just going to be just perfect for me.
We'll start on May 8th, we'll start the challenge.
Challenge?
So yes.
Okay, I'll let all my ladies know, because I know that they'll definitely be interested. Okay. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you so much.
So good. It's such a pleasure.
Remain real, authentic, and whole. Be yourself and continue to follow your dreams. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time on Woman of Strength TV.